How's the game going? I really haven't played since the Brimstone Sands update, and that was a couple of months ago. This is the comment that really truly inspires today's video. State of the game, my honest thoughts about where we are with New World, especially as we look forward to 2023. I have actually massive high hopes for this year. The roadmap alone alludes to bigger changes, but today I want to kind of focus in on this comment plus another comment. There's a kind of two comment inspired video here. Big Head Kitty says, thanks for the info. On a side note, have you noticed New World's video views are dropping a lot in the past month or so? And yeah, the answer is yes. And what I want to share with you guys today isn't so much inside baseball, but a reflection on who we are as gamers. And this is just how I've come to view it from a content creator's perspective, but I tend not to try to view myself from a content creator first, but a gamer first mentality. I've got 6 kids. Number 6 is going to be due here in a few months. And as that, I think it actually grounds me a lot to the realities that everyday gamers get to have. People often ask, how do you even play games with so many kids? And the answer, truly, ironically, or weirdly enough, sounds weird when I say it out loud, is a calendar. I schedule my game time on a calendar. And you guys have probably caught on. If you've been a part of this community, if you've thought about becoming a part of this community, just note that we do community game nights. I like hanging out, and I tell you guys when that is. It's been going on Fridays, but we're going to be making a shift, and I'll talk more about that shift here at the end of the video for those of you who are actually interested. But today's video is going to focus in on these ideas. These ideas about the ebb and flow of content, the ebb and flow of hype, the ebb and flow of games, the issues that New World and the challenges that this game will face, and it will face for a while. We got to be as clearly honest with it, is that, do I feel New World is worth it? Yeah, the $40 for this game, I think, is an incredible value. It is an absolute joy to be playing this game. Do you play this game to the detriment of your life, family, any other games out there? No. And right now, as we enter into first quarter of 2023, there are some really good games on the horizon. There's some really exciting things that you could be playing, or you can keep playing New World. There's plenty of things that this game offers. One of the reasons to just talk about why you might want to continue playing New World is because gold is power. Earning materials, making money on the markets, that benefits you over people who don't. And that's something that some people feel threatened by. They're concerned by taking these breaks. And that is the nature in my mind of a player-driven economy and a MMORPG. Those are some key pillars that I look at and define within the genre. Modern, quote-unquote, being the modern MMOs, are now 20 and 15 and 10 years old. Like, they have gone kind of away from that because of that pressure that people feel, like the constant need to play. But here's the trick. It's perfectly good to take breaks. It's actually healthy, and I encourage you. Now, I have natural breaks built into my life, because clearly I have a well-blessing and large family who I look forward, and we've been starting to play more in games together. And as they get older, my game time actually probably will increase. But beyond that, I want to talk about the core state of the game. How is New World right now? Should you consider jumping back in a quieter time for the game? And my answer would be yes. If you have no other games that you're looking forward to playing, if what is launching here in the next couple of weeks through the month of February and then into early March isn't going to attract you to those offerings. For example, I'm a longtime Destiny player, been playing since Destiny 1's beta. Like, I've been in that game, in that community for a long time. I occasionally cover it. I like to sit down and make guides, but I don't do the daily grind of news and all that stuff. I like to sit down and I like to shoot monsters with my friends. It's a heck of a good fun time. Destiny's a fun game. But if you overconsume Destiny, you're going to hate Destiny. And that's due to its model and its nature. Now, this isn't me trying to advocate for you to go play Destiny. This is me telling you I'm planning on playing that game, especially with Lightfall, because that's the game that I kind of check into every once in a while. So New World, from a avid, playing all the time, will take a couple of steps back. Not that I don't play it, it's just I'm not going to be like playing it how I normally do. New World has all of 2022 really dominated the vast majority of my game time. While the numbers of hours as a longtime gamer doesn't compare to some of the people who have picked up this game and jumped in, I'm kind of jealous of the people who are at 2K hours. I'm gonna get there, and by the time I do, you'll probably be at 10K, But I am not leaving New World. I'm going to continue to grind on this game because it's so effing good, and it is a game that has a bright future. But like I said and alluded to, it's a game that does have challenges and issues, and these are the things that the devs had talked about fixing. Now here's where I end up sometimes frustrating gamers out there, because I tend to speak, and they accuse me of speaking from a place of authority, and that ends up becoming it's a weird line for me to walk. I'm a software engineer. I'm a developer myself, and I've done that work so long. And somebody asked me recently, like, what kind? I've been an independent software developer. I also have other gigs and things like that that are rocking and rolling. I don't go into too much detail about that specifically. I also have dabbled in games. None of those games, unfortunately, got published. But I do like to, whenever I had free time, to dabble in making some kind of games. And hopefully I'll actually eventually release a game for you guys to check out. That is ultimately my goal. Right now, the problem ends up being time. We'll have to see how that shakes out. I also enjoy being a dad, and that's also a really good thing. But anyway, back to kind of the aspect. The position authority, as I usually speak with, is the understanding of what's actually going on behind the scenes, not knowing the exact details or the exact plan, but I can get a lot of detail out of the comments, the updates, the tweets. It really actually is telling, because I live and breathe that on a very daily basis. And so what they are telling me is kind of heat maps. And so the authority that I speak with is the authority of a software developer living and breathing in an agile environment with big, massive projects, with lots of work being done by a lot of people. I've managed large teams. I've managed small teams. I've been a cog in the wheel. So I've lived and breathed that. And so that's where the authority comes from. So I'm not trying to sit here and, like play a cup game and confuse you guys, but I live and breathe in this. And so when I look at what they're communicating and what they're doing, like they are, I think, and from my perspective, from everything they've said, they're doing it right. But it's unfortunate, and we could always sit here and say, we could play, like shoulda, coulda, woulda. Hindsight is always going to be 2020. Oh, the game should have launched with all of these features. Well, they can't go back in time, and so the only thing they can do is continue to deliver content. What they have shown, and here's the real kicker, they have shown that people are willing to check out the game and return to the game. I think overall this past fall is an indication of the core structure of the game. A couple of, quarterly updates with a kind of a bigger update, followed by kind of a cooling off season, followed by an update and another update, and then a big update, and then a cooling off season. How you as a player can take advantage of this is actually really unique. In terms of like capitalizing on it, if you are like looking for a game to live and breathe, New World offers that with its, with its environment and how it really is immersive. This is a very immersive game that I really appreciate, but it invites you to take advantage of these times so that you can actually capitalize on hype. Hype, if we're going to be absolutely honest, if we're going to strip away all precursors and pretenses, hype is a drug. And in a way, we are the addicts. We are the users. And if you start to recognize this, it automatically shatters all marketing's power. But there's a fun part of being a part of the hype. So I'm not trying to ruin your fun, but I'm just sitting here to say, if you understand how the system works, if you understand the things that are working on you and your brain, that social media is applying, but even just gaming and forums and even magazines, like all of this was a hype-driven industry. These aspects would allow you to capitalize on that. So you can do a little bit of stuff in game now, and it can reap massive rewards when all of a sudden the wave of people return to play the new content. You can be the gatherer today. You can have all the stuff done today. You can be the expert today. And when all of a sudden everybody starts returning because they start turning on marketing, new content automatically has people interested. People are going to ask, should you return? That's going to be the question that will come up. You can be the one with all the materials ready to reap the profits of that hype engine. And so as you start to notice the patterns and the ebbs and flows, you can capitalize off of that, and it could make your playing experience 1,000 times better for kind of, in a way, doing your own thing. Is this game in a good state? Kind of. There are issues, and there's some things getting fixed on the PTR. Some people don't feel heard while others do. That's always like you take New World, you put this on another channel, you make another game, you're going to find people with those same kind of complaints and issues. But I do feel, personally speaking, for my interactions, I feel very heard by the devs. I think the devs are doing an incredible job. They have a hard job. I think video games are a miracle of our times. Just the sheer amount of risk, the sheer amount of work the cost of these things. I see a lot of like fake information being shared and taking as the truth, and that's where I tend to also rub against the zeitgeist of gaming knowledge here on YouTube, and I'll continue to do that. Like again, dev here, I don't rely on the ad revenue for any of these videos, so it makes me, I think it puts me in a really unique position. I don't have to clickbait, because if you don't want to watch my video, that's cool. But at the same time, I get to sit down and actually tell you what's going on, which means I don't rely on you actually hitting subscribe. Like I would like it if you did. It actually helps me if you do. And to kind of break it down, it doesn't actually help in the algorithm. YouTube will push this video to you if it thinks you're going to enjoy it. And a part of that is like, if we bring up just the sheer numbers, I shared this over on Twitter just as an aside. When people get annoyed when YouTubers ask for likes, and I get it, I get annoyed too, right? But I also know the data behind it. Asking for that gives me 2 times the likes on the same video, same kind of views. It's absurd. And and so you got to tell people what you're doing. You got to ask for favors. How does that impact the video in the long run? Well, that means YouTube will continue to recommend that video long after it's been published. So in a way, if you guys feel like these videos earn it, you like these decisions and these discussions, you like my guides, you like these things, I'm going to have to unfortunately keep asking for that, because I do feel that I offer the right product for people. I'm not trying to sit here and, hypersensationalize things. I'm not going to judge anybody who does either, because it's all a part of the this content creation BS game, right? I'm just trying to give you guys the best discussions, the best guides, the best content that I possibly can from a position of experience and somebody who is absolutely in love with this game. So overall, the state of the game is in the lull, and this is the natural season. This was what I was talking about was going to happen. This is essentially kind of the quieter time. We'll see I think the spring will see a little bit of a bump, the summer a little bit more of the bump, but if they end up announcing an expansion, if they end up talking about their bigger update itself, that's when the hype kicks in. That's when people start getting excited again, as soon as they start talking about some of the big features. Now, we are already seeing big features, but I think essentially what you'll end up seeing is kind of 3 hype cycles within 2023. You'll have what's going to happen here in February, and if you guys aren't paying attention, February will literally be probably their dev update. We're going to see the PTR, the leaderboards will be out. I think they'll want to wait till the end of February where the leaderboards are out so they can have a conversation about what's kind of coming next. They're handling that with the, their Eternum kind of, Forged in Eternum series to be able to kind of address things pretty quickly. I think that's actually a really genius move. And then the dev updates become events for us to drive that kind of discussion. So I think that we'll see that in February, which will lead into probably, I'm guessing, April for the springtime update in April. And then essentially, again, content gets consumed. It's not going to be like a massive amount. We're not getting a new continent, for example, but we will get content. We'll have things, people will play, people will try to decide if they want to return, especially if they're finished with all kind of the other updates and games. Once you finish Lightfall, once you finish, whatever games you're playing, then yeah, you'll be like, hey, should I jump back in? The answer is yes, because like I talked about at the beginning with the economy, the game also doesn't punish you for taking breaks. It's not going to limit you. It's going to allow you to catch up, because as people make money in the economy, they have money to spend. So you can actually make money pretty quickly in this game if you know how. And I'm working with some people on some additional guides for you guys to dive into that. The state of the game for me, I guess, in review is as expected. This is exactly how these things go. And if you don't believe me, just go play a couple other games of service. They have these ebbs and flows. Occasionally, every 15 years or so, you have a game that is a rocket ship. It's World of Warcraft when it launched. Not necessarily a day it launched, but it continued to grow and continue to grow. It's Fortnite, continue to grow, continue to grow, continue to grow. Like, those things are the exceptions, but we kind of think of them as the rules, especially as it relates to WoW and MMOs. But here we are. And I think essentially the biggest thing that I think WoW actually has going for it is it put out a roadmap. I'm looking forward to seeing New World becoming more confident in its roadmap. And I think overall the state of the game is fun. Like, it's a fun game. I'm having a really good time with it. There are issues and complaints. We've talked about those in other videos, and One of the things I was trying to get out for you guys this week was more, question and answer comment kind of video, but unfortunately, work was pretty busy this week, and I wasn't able to get it done for you. But I'm going to stop rambling. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this, whether you're playing games right now, whether you're just listening to this while you game, or if you're I don't know, just doing whatever. I appreciate you. Again, if you feel like these videos earn it, that like button, that subscribe button, they help me out dramatically. Not algorithmically in the sense, but dramatically they have a real lasting impact here on the site and on the content that I make. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.